Hi out there in the YouTube world. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about reincarnation versus resurrection. And what are some key differences in these? Because I've been studying a lot of different types of religion lately, and syncretism. And in my opinion, a lot of these things of spiritual nature are linked to the stars. That might just be me, but it's a lot of philosophers as well from things that I study. And yeah, so if you're interested in these kind of things, let's compare them. Well, with the Roman Catholic Church and the way that things have been, and a very common theme that most people who aren't even really Christians tend to kind of believe this, that it's just this is our only life. So if you're a Christian or you're an atheist, you only got this one experience. And if you're a Christian who believes in the resurrection, then you have to stay truthful to God your whole life, and it's your one opportunity, and you're going to put all your energy into that one thing, the book that a church has given, that I think really fractures and divides people. But yeah, because there's a lot of sin and negativity and judgment and a lot of things of lower nature compared to with Taoism. It's all about raising your awareness to raise the Christos, or the sacred oil. But that's something we'll get to after. Now, if you really think about this, children all over the world, 10-year-olds, are I have an imaginary friend. And the parents are you're crazy. You shouldn't be having imaginary friends. You have to stop it, or we're going to bring you to a shrink and a psychiatrist, and you have problems if you have an imaginary friend. Okay? But collectively, there's thousands, I don't even know the number of people, but there is a shift occurring now where we're kind of coming out of the dark ages, and we're it's not really new information, but we're remembering what ancient people in the past had as common knowledge, information that was destroyed at Alexandria, sacred writings and texts. This is starting to come back through word of mouth. And with technology, it's just awesome, because we can have this experience together, and I can pass this information on to you with the help of Mercury, god of communication. But yeah, so the church people they act, and if this sounds familiar to you, then good for you, but church people can be stand-downers, because they don't want to, and I don't mean it in an offensive way, I just mean you sit on your hands, and anything that happens is God's divine will, which is someone up there, an imaginary person. Don't you remember the example I gave with the 10-year-old having an imaginary friend? You see how and if you look up placebos and that kind of stuff on the computer, just because the people are praying and having an experience, an inner experience, just because they're having that doesn't give validity to this kind of stuff. Because yeah, it has such celestial origins, Jesus being the sun and all that. But yeah, so personally, I go more with the reincarnation aspect of it, where you have to get it right eventually. And if you actually look up on Google, just look up Jesus reincarnation, and there's so many Bible passages that really can't be explained or don't make sense unless reincarnation is a phenomenon. And maybe there's exceptions, maybe there's certain rules to it that we don't understand, that aren't we don't know about, but he definitely taught that there was reincarnation. It was a very, very long article I read, and it gave tons of quotes from many different passages. So just Google that if you're curious about knowing what Jesus said, or what Jesus apparently said in the Bible. And there's a lot of information to support the reincarnation end of this. So with the whole reincarnation aspect, well, what's the point? You just come back forever? It's just a figure eight forever and ever and ever? And you just never finish? No, that's not what happens. We reach a spiritual attainment within our bodies. Our bodies' sacred temples. That's why there's like temples all over the world that have like layouts similar to the human layouts. Like if you just Google that, like, and with the temple of Jupiter and the temple of the moon and all these temples all over the world, the ancients also understood that the skies, like we see all these observatories in like Mexico, like in Machu Picchu, like celestial observatories. And when you see pictures of like, and even Freemasons, if you look this up, Freemasons and like Hermetics and like ancient magi of the past, there's always pictures of them looking through a little telescope at the sky. Now, they also had an understanding that as above, so below, and as within, so without. So it's all very interconnected. And they weren't just like looking at the sky. They had an understanding of the sacredness behind it. And that's what I think has been lost to a lot of people. Like, you know, like I've seen lots of UFOs and stuff, but I bring other people who have never seen any, and they can have the experience where they see it. And I think a lot of it has to do with your mind, because a lot of the people who I talk to believe me because I'm telling the truth, and it shows through. Like I've seen hundreds and hundreds of UFOs, like these weird orbs of light in the sky. And people who have had no experiences have, and like they're the same age as me, so like 26, 27, and like, or even older, come with me to like go camping or something, and they'll see it too. And that's just such a magical experience. And it's because their consciousness is open to the potentiality of that occurring. Okay? But yeah, so we've looked at the differences between reincarnation and the resurrection. And they're both based off celestial stuff. Okay? It's just that both have been kind of skewed to a different kind of perspective. And the church really was using this, I think, for the past couple hundred years or longer, like, to control people. Because sex, also, I want you to understand, is a very, very sacred thing. The flowers, the love, that's very special and sacred. But it's not all just about being cardinal and lustful and in your lower desires, because that's just the foundational stone. And people suppress it because the church, and like even in like non-religious people who are atheists, it's a suppressed thing. Like sexuality is like dirty. You don't want to talk about it. And like it's not an evil, sinful, bad thing. Okay? Even Taoists teach that it's sacred. And if you look up like tantric sex, where they hold sexual poses, it's not about the orgasm or like the release or the wasting of energy. It's about actually building and strengthening your energy through the embracing of the beauty of love and of life and all of creation, which, the foundation stone being sex, they can use that as meditational techniques to raise Kundalini energy or Christos oil through their body. And like if you're Jewish, then it's like, you know, your candlestick thing that burns for 7 days. Like, it's sacred oil, and it's in your body. And it's constantly being replenished on a day-to-day basis, every second. That's why when people meditate, they talk about bring in the prana, the mana, the sacred energy, the breath of life into you and connect with it all. And there is a difference between your ego, which is like left brain thinking, and your right brain thinking, like which is like intuitive, and like you have to kind of connect to it more. Like, in order to, I don't know, be spiritual, like, because it's not all about the words and the language. Because when we get lost in the words and the language, some of the understanding gets lost. Like with some people with astrology, they tell me, I don't believe in astrology. Well, that's like someone telling me that they don't believe in French. Just because you don't know how to speak the language and you don't understand the language does not mean it doesn't exist. Silly. Like, isn't that silly? Like, it simply means you don't understand it. Like, because anyone that I've ever done a chart reading for, I've been able to, like, totally see the inside of their personality, explain how they are, and I've never had anyone be like, no, that's all not right. Like, I've had a couple little things in a chart be a little off, But charts are really detailed, and when you're combining so many elements to it, I'm actually like proud of myself for being able to decode charts as well as I do, because even the Bible says that you have to know thyself to know God, okay? And if there's the celestial zodiac within your body, you have to know it and understand it, because that's like the basis of your character. And if you don't know the mechanism of your own character, then you'll flaw to some of the darker sides of your character traits. But if you have a good understanding of your nature, then you can kind of be your own priest or your own sage that guides yourself through life, because you can be like your own best friend because you know yourself so well. Because a lot of people don't know themselves and are surprised when I'm able to tell them deep aspects of their personality and yeah. I hope this video has been helpful, and let me know what you think about reincarnation and resurrection and all that. I really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you in my next video.